This is our fourth video for Mrs. Martin's class, learning how to make hats for refugees in Jordan and Greece. In the last video, we saw how to close up the hat to make this little guy. And what we did was we folded our fabric in half, and then we stitched up the side here to make a tube. And if you'd like to see how to do that, you can look at the previous video. So I've done that again with this piece of fabric. And so you can see now it's just a tube of crocheted fabric. All right. And in the last one, we stitched across the top so that it was just a rectangle that opens up into a hat. But in this one, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to again thread my needle. And I showed you how to do this in the last video. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do it here without an explanation. And then now that that's threaded, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this puppy up. So what I'm going to do on this one is, instead of stitching across the top, I'm going to stitch in a circle and then pull it tight like a drawstring. So I'm going to start by looking in this area. Here's this tail here, and I'm going to look in this area to see where are gaps that I can put the needle into. So right here I see a little gap that I can put it into, and then here's kind of a post and I can bring it back up, and then over here, here's another place I can put my needle down, and if I keep looking, here's another place I can bring it up. I don't have to be really scientific about it, but as you can see, I'm just going in and out. I'm trying to see if you can see that very well. I'm just going in and out and making sure that there's some kind of stitching above the needle right here. All right, so I'm going to just pull this yarn through, and then I'm going to keep going all the way around, just in and out of the fabric. See how this just has one piece of yarn here? I feel like that's going to be too flimsy, so I'm going to back up a little bit and put my needle behind that and kind of go around it so that there's plenty of stuff above my needle here. I hope that's making sense. So I'm just going to keep going in and out. And while I'm doing this, I just want to tell you why we are making these hats. There are refugees who are coming from Syria in the Middle East. They're having a civil war, and they are leaving their homes with pretty much nothing, and they are heading to Europe looking for safety, and it's a very cold time of year, and so we're just trying to help them to stay warm. And one of the struggles I think that we have sometimes is that we see people around us who are suffering and need help, and sometimes it can be really overwhelming to think that maybe there's nothing we can do, but we're doing this because there's always something that we can do. Even if it's something small, even if I can only make one hat and send it over, that is one person who will be a little bit warmer. And even if that doesn't seem like a big deal for me, everything that I do for someone is a big deal for them. And so that's why it was important to us as a family to try and get these hats sent over. And it's important that anyone who is willing and able can just do something small, because if each of us did something small, it would make something great. And so I hope that together we can work together to just make these hats to do something great in the world. So we're almost to the end. I'm just double checking where I'm at. I can't see how far I've come. I've lost my place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pulling this tight and up. Okay, I need to go to here. That's where it's cinching up to. So I'm going to just keep going in and out and in and out. one of my favorite quotes is from Mother Teresa, and she was a nun who worked in India helping homeless people, and she was asked one time why, if she ever gets discouraged, I think that she just can't do anything great, and she said most of us can't do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And that's been something that has really helped me to not freeze when I see things going wrong, and to just start small, just start doing something small. Okay, so now I'm back to the beginning, and I'm just going to pull this yarn tight. Pull, 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 tight, 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 as tight as I can. And you can see that just closed that end right up. It looks like a big belly button now. Okay, so now I'm going to tie this off. Just pull it as tight as I can. And there's my finger coming out of the belly button, so I'm just going to pull it a little tighter. And right in that same area, find a spot that I can poke back in. Oh, my yarn is getting a little tangly here. And I'm going to come back through this loop to make a knot. We're just going to knot it as tight as we can. And you can see there's a little hole here. Sometimes that happens. And I have a few choices. I can either put my needle back in here. Right now I'm going to tie one more knot just to make sure it's nice and secure. Oh, my stuff's all loopy, but I'm just tying a knot right here. I know it looks a little crazy. Okay, so my choices for closing that up are that I can go in through here and across and pull it tight, and then do the same thing this direction like this. That tightened that part up, and then I can go from right to left over that little belly button there, and that closed it up a little. And another choice that I have, which I'm going to do after I knot this off again here, is that I can make a pom-pom to put on top of the hat, and that will just cover that hole right up. But I'll just do that later on. Maybe in another video we can learn how to make and attach pom-poms. So that's all finished, and now I'm going to hide this. See, I've got this long thread, and I don't want to cut it too close to the end because I'm afraid that then that knot will just come undone and it'll open up. So I'm just going to slide this in along the stitches right here so it's hiding inside. Just tucking that needle in the middle of the stitches here. And if I want to, I can come back the other direction just to make sure that it's covered really well. And then I'm just going to cut this end. Hope I stayed in the frame for that part. Okay, so my hat is inside out. Now I'm going to turn it right side out. And now I have another little hat. And my kids like to wear these with a little roll on the bottom. So there's our second style of hat. So our two options. A little square top and a little round top. Okay, so that's how to make our hats. And for my daughter's class, for Miss Martin's class, if you feel stuck by closing up that piece and all you want to do is just crochet it and you don't want to stitch it closed until it's a hat, just send it home with my daughter and I will stitch them closed for you to make them into a hat, and we will get these sent off to keep some people warm. Thank you for making hats, you guys. Bye-bye.